Like I had a Jewish friend, and I went to his house, and like he totally like talked back and yelled back at his parents.
Yeah.
That was just such a shock to me, dude. I was like, "What the hell are you doing? You're gonna get slapped. You're gonna get slapped."
Welcome to This Filipino American Life, a podcast that explores the nuanced experiences of Filipinos in the United States at iba pa. My name is Ryan Carpio, and I'm joined by my fellow hosts.
Joe Bernardo.
Elaine Delalis.
And
Mike. Hi.
Producer Mike. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew, pew.
I can't use my phone because I'm looking at Instagram. So
That's all right.
I'm
We
using
got
my
it.
mouth.
It's so it's so funny because I don't think Mike wanted to press the air horns for him. So
I mean, it's not even. I gotta like move a bunch of stuff around. Sorry.
And I'm sure you had enough of fireworks this week.
Oh, it's still going. Still going.
Is this still going? Oh my god!
I mean, I don't know why everyone's complaining about the fireworks all of a sudden because I think we've lived this life for like years now, like
We live this
months and months of fireworks before,
life.
from like Cinco de Mayo to like now, basically.
Oh goodness, it's the Gentros.
Is it?
Not here.
Right? No,
No, it's the hood.
Oh, it's just
it's
a
hood fireworks.
neighborhood.
no. What I'm saying is like the people complaining are the Gentros.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Hi guys.
Hey, we want to welcome to all of you watching us on Facebook Live and Instagram
Instagrams.
Live, and we haven't done this in a few weeks.
In a while.
Yeah.
Well, maybe longer, like maybe a month or so. But we do want to thank you for spending some time with us tonight as we do this live. So anyway, how you guys been?
we're good.
Wait,
We're good.
but we gotta talk about.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about our TFAL.
Oh yes. Who's
Who's our TFAL of the
TFAL?
episode? Elaine?
Oh, I'm going to ruin this. Our TFAL of the
Yeah.
episode is Rahadian Satstrowardoyo.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it.
Good job. Rahadian, I just want you to know Elaine was practicing, but she did a good job. So thank you for being our pal. And yeah, and if you want to be a TPAL of the episode, how do we do that? I don't know.
You sign up to be a Patreon.
Oh, that's right.
You go on patreon.com and sign up to subscribe, donate to us, a monthly donation, and you will be a TPAL of the episode, and you'll also get some cool perks.
Cool perks.
what?
Like what?
I don't know. We're just
I know.
we're very perky. That's why. It's very perky.
We did that happy hour with some TPALs.
Yeah, we did a happy
yeah.
hour with
Yeah.
TPALs. So that was fun.
Yeah,
And we
sign
gave
up.
and people won prizes. It was cool. It was a
You
fun
won
time.
prizes. Sometimes we give away certain like donated items. We give away to TPALs. And we give
That's
away
right.
certain other
Pastelubongs.
pasta lubongs. Yes.
Pasta Lubugs. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Hey Ryan,
those,
are you related to
yeah.
Rahadian?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Why?
Guess it's
Because
like
of our name.
Ryan. Ryan, Rahadian. I don't know.
Oh, I
That's a
don't know,
stretch.
Joe.
What?
No, that's a stretch.
That's a bit of a stretch.
We're trying. We're trying so hard.
I know. Anyway, but please consider us on Patreon and give what you can. Anyway, what are we talking about today, guys?
I don't know. It's
I don't
this is your
either.
idea.
I know this was my idea. Okay. No, seriously.
Well,
Yeah,
we
go ahead,
can-
Elaine.
let's talk about. I mean, I just want to pat ourselves on the back because
Yes,
we had
do
like
it.
an amazing episode that we just released yesterday with Maria Ressa. So good job, guys,
That's right.
on that amazing episode.
No.
Episode-
Thank you, Elaine, for hooking that up.
Oh yeah.
Like
We
this,
should give
like an old timey winner.
well for those who are on with us live and you're trying to figure out what Elaine's talking about, check out This Filipino American Life. Our latest podcast that we released was yesterday, and we had Maria Ressa on from the Philippines, and she recorded with us. She spent an hour with us and just talking about journalism and the state of journalism in the Philippines and why it's important to us Filipino Americans. So check it out. It's probably, I know all of our episodes are important, but this is probably one of the more important ones in the current time. So I thought it was great. So it was fun just kind of listening to her, and she's super brilliant. So, but
Yeah.
listen to it. It's awesome.
Speaking of important episodes, what are we talking about, Ryan?
Okay. Sorry. So today, this is sort of like once in a while we get to do a mini episode where if you're a fan of the show, we just talk about stuff that kind of either boggles our mind or things that we think about culturally speaking. So today, I wanted to talk about, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like a little bit of the word culture shock. And I really want to talk about cultural practices. Let me frame it like this. I wanted to engage our listeners and our hosts and those watching on Facebook Live and Instagram Live on some of the cultural practices that we as Filipino Americans, that we maybe hide growing up because we were embarrassed or because we were told to change a certain cultural practice that we do, or cultural practices in America that we questioned, but we're kind of afraid. Like we questioned internally, but we're afraid to ask. I know that's a little heavy. So I'll give you an example of something that a lot of people are talking about now, maybe popularized by someone like Jokoy, right? So like the tabo is a good example of a cultural thing that we Filipino Americans sort of learned through our parents, carried with us to the United States. And if you know what a tabo is, it's hard to explain to others as a conversation, right? But it's a practical use outside of the humorous use of it that become popularized during COVID and all that. But it's super practical, and it was shocked to me coming to the States that people didn't use that, and that people, use toilet paper. And it made really, really weird sense to me as a kid. But I never questioned it. It was never something that I thought was kind of I thought it was just kind of weird, but I never really talked about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'm not really talking. Yeah, I'm not really. I don't really want to have a discussion on food in general, because we would talk forever about food. I'm not even talking about cultural practices that we've embraced as Filipino Americans. So like, I don't want to talk about trick-or-treating, because trick-or-treating is awesome. You get candy. But or like, eating a hot dog at a Dodger game. That's awesome. I'm not talking about those. I'm really talking more about the things that we sort of hid growing up.
Yeah. I think
What do you think?
the term culture shock really comes from, for example, an immigrant coming to the United States or going to another country, and they're kind of shocked by the cultural norms that of their adopted new country or something, right? That's kind of the normal narrative of culture shock, right? This is more like we as Filipino Americans, at least with the exception of Ryan, we were born and raised here, right? That we're still like shocked over, right? About something about American culture that we are still shocked with, even though we were born and raised here. Go ahead, Elaine.
So when I was a little kid, I never took a nap. Like my parents didn't let me nap. They just were like, you're going to run around and then you're going to be so tired you go to sleep. So when they sent me to preschool and you have nap time, I used to get in trouble because I wouldn't take a nap. Like I would be restless. I would stare at things. I would get into shenanigans. Do you know that one time I didn't take a nap, so I got into the kidney beans or whatever beans that were there to teach you how to count? They were jelly beans. They were like pinto beans. You're supposed to learn how to count math when you're in preschool.
We use lima beans.
Exactly, one of those. I shoved one up my nose.
Oh
my
dear.
God.
And then it got stuck there. And then I thought I was going to have to live with a bean up my nose for the rest of my life.
Did you have to go to the doctor?
Spoiler alert, no, it didn't. I just blew it out and I cleaned it off and I put it back in.
Hey, Elaine, more power to you. You can't ruin the count.
I was a dirty kid.
You can't ruin the count.
But also, I got sent to the principal's office, not for the bead fiasco, but because I couldn't take a nap. I got in preschool. They were like, "Hey, go to the principal's office." And so I sat there in the preschool principal's office, and the lady was looking at me like, "Why are you here?" And I looked at her and I'm like, "Because I didn't go to sleep."
Yeah.
Like,
So what was the shock then?
that I didn't understand what nap time was.
Got it.
Like I would look at all these kids and be like, how do you all know go to sleep?
Yeah.
I was just looking like, you all know, like this is a normal thing.
Well, see, even for me, right? Like I went to kindergarten in the Philippines, so we were like, I didn't understand what nap time was either when I came here. It's like, oh, I remember when we were preschool we had naps. I was like, what? You slept in the school? That's weird. That was a very weird moment to me. I don't know about you, Mike or Joe, if you had nap time when you were kids or if you remember. Like as in school.
In school.
Yeah. That's so weird to me.
I don't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't remember nap time.
Oh.
I think
I didn't have it. I didn't go to preschool.
Oh, sorry.
And it
So
shows.
I didn't go to preschool.
I went straight to kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry, smarty pants.
Whatever.
Mike's like first 5. Most important years. Oh my goodness. But
so you don't remember, Mike?
I think I did in like preschool, and then like the summer that I was stuck at my brother's daycare, because like my parents were like working and my grandparents weren't around, so I had to stay at my little brother's daycare. And he's like 7 years younger than me, and so like obviously I'm like this old kid who's like, why is this old kid here? But they all took naps, and so they're like, you can take a nap too if you want. I was like, what do you mean? Like, is it just like what is this?
And then you just ended up with a lima bean stuck up your nose.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the shock.
And that was dinner.
that was the shock. Is I can't believe it.
What? I didn't know
That's
that
something
wasn't a normal thing. All right. I didn't even know you're supposed to eat those. I thought they were only for counting and learning math. So,
Okay.
Sorry.
So nap time.
Mm-hmm. What do you think?
What's another one?
Well,
You have one?
okay. I want to do one like because of school. I want to hear from our listeners out there or those joining us on Facebook or Instagram. So if you're from the Philippines, if you spoke to a teacher at a school in the Philippines, you have to stand up. Like when you address a teacher, you stand up from your seat and you address them as ma'am or sir, and you would answer questions like that. Like, what's 2 + 2, Ryan? And I would have to like get up and say 4, and then sit
That's like
down.
law school.
Well, so I started doing that, and I know my brothers did this too when I came here. And of course, like people like laughed at me and made fun of me. Like, what's he doing? Why he keeps and because even if you answer multiple questions, you would like stand up, sit down, and it was like normal thing that you would do as a kid. And so here, I kind of just stopped. I mean, I followed suit, and I didn't do it again. But I remember being in 2nd grade, going, "Why does nobody else stand up?" You know. To address their teachers. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then ever since then, I never stood up again to address my teachers. So that was kind of a shock to me as a kid. And I was sort of embarrassed about the whole thing. Like I'm doing something wrong. And then I don't know, I just kind of suppressed it and never did it again. So I thought it was kind of cool though, right? Kind of respectful to your teachers, but I guess it wasn't the cultural practice here. So
Yeah, respect the elders.
Respect to others.
That's like such a cultural thing in the Philippines, right? Like school elders. Like I remember one of the first times I went back to the Philippines as an adult, like I saw billboards about, like literally said like respect your elders. And I think it was an ad for like bench, like clothes.
Yeah.
And I was just like in Metro Manila, and I was just like, is that like a thing? Like they just like, and I don't remember like, I don't think we take the same tone here in America. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
shut up, mom and dad, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that kind of shocked me too. Like when I would visit my friends, like houses and stuff. Like I had a Jewish friend, and I went to his house, and like he totally like talked back and yelled back at his parents.
Yeah.
That was just such a shock to me, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell are you doing?
You're gonna get slapped. You're gonna get slapped. Or you just kind of waiting for a show. It's like, oh, the show's not happening.
Yeah.
The belt is coming.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, it's kind of weird. Like when you talk about school and you have to stand up and like that kind of that respect in the school space.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, that's like one of the biggest shocks to Filipino teachers who come here to teach, and like especially like poorer school districts.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the lack of respect that students have of
For the
teachers.
teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been highlighted in different like documentaries and stuff. But yeah, that's one of the biggest shocks to a lot of Filipino teachers. I mean, now I guess people are trained to understand that.
Yeah.
At least the teachers are trained to kind of expect that their students are not going to treat them the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's crazy. I think really looking back at, I remember some things still being there in first grade and kindergarten, but you know when you learn like Filipino, the subject Filipino is, you learn the language, of course, but you also learn some of the culture and traditions. And I remember pretty distinctly like a very vivid imagery of how to respect elders just in general. Like there were cartoons drawn about like, oh, if you're gonna pass in between two adults walking, talking, if you're gonna pass in between them, you either wait or you bow and excuse yourself, like in a very like vivid manner. Like you have to bow down and say, you know, I don't mean to, kind of like, I don't want to bother your conversation, but I got to get through. And that was at a young age, you're sort of taught this respect for elders in a particular way. Even just the way the way people say ma'am and sir in stores, and just the idea of like respect and customer service to others. I don't know. I find that kind of comforting and kind of shocking that it didn't.
Well, that's interesting that, like, I don't know if that was ever passed down by my parents to us. And so, I mean, I wonder if that's part of the acculturation in America is like, okay, I guess they don't do any of this stuff here, so we're not going to do that.
We're not going to do it.
Because I'd imagine my parents were raised with the same values and the same kind of perspectives. And I don't know, but I don't remember that being like you have to do the same kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
For my parents. So.
Yeah, each family's different, of course.
Yeah.
Or I guess my family's garbage. I don't know. We're just terrible people.
No, not at all.
Yes, they are. You're right.
All right. With that being said, look at real quick on Facebook. We got Jason Beltran said, "I never use a tabo. The whole concept seems weird to me." Mona Rose says, "Mano po seemed a little too ritualistic for my friends who are not religious for me." Sounds like the military.
On Instagram, Bev wrote, in high school, I started using a knife and fork more at non-family outings meals. But from college on, I've embraced using fork and spoon, like lunch with a dean at the faculty center.
Pilar,
wait, did you finish, Ryan?
Pilar says, calling older people by their first name, like friends' parents.
Yes.
I thought, yes. We got to get on the same. That's on our list.
That was so weird.
Yeah. Ralph says, "Do you remember not learning anything new in math till a few grades later? I moved here in the States in the 4th grade and didn't learn new math till high school." Let's see who else. Jason Lucina says, "Speaking of Jewish friends, my best friend in elementary school is Jewish, and his favorite thing to eat was what?
Matzo balls. I don't know.
Chocolate. Oh,
chocolate meat. Basically, dinuguan, which you shouldn't be eating if you are Jewish."
So
Alex on Instagram also says Americans having small families / gatherings, and the only big ones are Thanksgiving and Christmas, not every weekend.
And it's not even that big. If you go to like Thanksgiving, Christmas is like, oh, there's 12 people. There's so many people here.
Oh my god!
I gotta carve this turkey.
Wait, I swear, Mike had a coworker who was like, "There's gonna be like 20 people at the house, and my parents are freaking out, and they have to rent chairs, and we have to rent a table, and they have to rent the tent." And I'm like, 20 people is like a small party.
That's like my family.
Yeah, right. That's just like a regular evening. It's like, oh, your auntie's gonna come over and make pancit, and that's like, we're just hanging out at the house.
Yeah.
What do you mean rent chairs? You should just have enough seats, or everyone stands,
or a garage full of folding tables and chairs.
No, I went to like a party, and this is just all people like our age. like my age and stuff.
Mhm.
And like, all they had, it was like a Christmas, like ugly sweater kind of party.
Are you gonna say they didn't have food?
They had like just
Chips.
all these like hors d'oeuvres, chips, hummus. Hummus was like probably the heaviest food there.
Oh my god.
And then like whatever, olives, that kind of stuff. And then I remember somebody commenting, "Oh my god, look at this spread. This is amazing."
Maybe they meant that the hummus was really smooth and it spread pretty evenly on the pita bread.
I'm like,
No.
I was like the girly, we're gonna eat after, right?
Yeah.
Like, where's the lechon? Where's the barbecue? Where's the at least meat skewers or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, parties are another thing that's kind of weird.
Like-
So
Growing up, my parents' house is like I grew up in a small townhouse, but we
Mhm.
always had like 2 or 3 extra folding chairs just
Yeah.
in case someone came
case.
over. But then my parents also have a dining table. Like there's only 3 of us in my house, but the dining tables had 6 chairs. It's big enough for a buffet. Like they were prepared.
right.
So I'm like, I don't understand.
And also like speaking of like parties, right? So I remember this is another one that kind of it still kind of shocks me till today, but like in high school, if you ever watch like American television, high school like shenanigans is usually like parents are out, we're gonna throw a party, we're gonna have like drinks, a keg, and all the stuff. I'm telling you, man, in high school, all my parties were with my parents and my family. I like never had an unsupervised party, and not because they of anything other than my parents made the food. You know, they were the ones. They were the ones
Where's
providing
the food gonna come from?
exactly. Like,
How's it gonna magically show up?
What kind of party is just beer? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, if people are just gonna drink, so just that idea of like, oh man, party. My parents are gone. I never really gravitated towards that. I never went to. Maybe not until I was 18 did I go to a party.
You're
that was
just
like,
reminding me. I think in high school we went to a party because it was like after school. So it was one of those like after school parties, which I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, we went to after school parties and like we went over to someone's house and I think to drink, but I don't know if we were drinking alcohol. And I swear we were
Soda?
like, I don't know. And then I'm like, I remember thinking like, well, what are we gonna eat? And we were raiding someone's like refrigerator,
yeah.
like their house refrigerator for snacks. And then I was like, oh, let's get pizza. And I remember thinking to myself, this is why teenagers should not have parties
Yeah.
because there's
'Cause
no,
there's no food.
What would be
Yeah.
the point?
That's why I was like, I didn't really translate the whole idea of a party without food and just kind of like doing goofy things. I don't know.
I
maybe
mean,
that
I
was
heard
me.
I heard there were like college party or not high school parties. Like when I was going to high school, I never went to. I went to college parties. So
Yeah.
like,
in high school, you went to college parties?
Yeah.
Because my brother and sister were
Oh,
older,
Yeah. I was
and
the
then my
same.
cousins were older, so I would go to like college parties.
Yeah.
And then that's when I kind of experienced like the unsupervised parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But I never went to any high school parties.
Yeah, that's why watching like, what is our year, Elaine?
Can't hardly wait.
Can't hardly wait.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, this doesn't happen. I'm like, this doesn't happen to me at all. None of this stuff. So I don't know. And part of it is like, I went to a school there's a lot of white people at my school, right? I went to an all boys high school, private high school. I can't tell you, like, I don't know if I invited anybody that wasn't Filipino to a family party of mine. Particularly because I don't know how they would take it. And I had white friends, I didn't know how to invite them. Does that make sense? Like I didn't feel, even though I was probably closer to a white dude to invite to my home, I probably invited a person of color that I didn't know that well easier, if that makes
Because you
sense.
thought that they would be able to understand the dynamic.
Yeah, and just the idea of like I don't know if the white guy was gonna be like, what kind of party?
All this is
what kind of
weird.
party is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
weird.
Well, I mean, like I would have like 1 or 2 random like non-Filipino friends come over, and they would look at the food and be
Right.
like very like skeptical and like suspicious of it,
Yeah.
and be like, "What is that made of?" Or like can I eat that? And I would have to like cajole and like explain all of it to them. Be like, this is just barbecue beef on a stick.
Yes.
You know, this is just sauce for these egg rolls that we call lumpia. You know, that kind of thing. You know, it's
Right,
just like,
right.
man, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So at these parties,
Mm.
are you taking your shoes off? Or are you keeping them on? Does it
On the
depend?
parties?
Okay. The parties are different.
Parties are
Okay.
different, right?
Yeah, parties are a little bit different because we sort of prepare for the parties to not have to ask guests to take off shoes.
What
At
if
least-
it's like a regular hangout? Regular day. You
I
just
don't
come
know.
over.
Well,
Do you
hold on.
take it off?
Let's go back because I know a lot of Filipinos take their shoes off when they come in, but I know that not everyone does.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
I don't
Not
think
everyone does.
it's I don't think it's as universal as like
As we
you know,
think.
East Asian,
As we,
East
Right.
Asian
Yeah.
or whatever.
yeah.
I think Filipinos, depending on the family, they will either take their shoes off or just have house chinelas, or they actually walk around with their shoes on.
Right.
So I think it depends.
It depends.
I have house chinelas. Growing up, we had house chinelas, and you would wear chinelas, and right, your shoes would be outside. So we would wear
So
chinelas.
I would
Or slippers.
growing up, I would walk into the house with my shoes, but then I would put my shoes away in my closet in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the house, I'd walk around barefoot. Like I never wore, I maybe wore like when Adidas shower slides were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody had those. I think I bought a pair. I was like, ooh, I'm going to be cool and wear them in the house. But like my natural state is to like be barefoot in my house and just have my yabba dabbas be like all over everything. And just, that's how it is. I mean, this is probably why I have Fred Flintstone feet, because I'm always barefoot.
So when I was a kid, we didn't take off our shoes because we had a lot of those plastic floor runners. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then somewhere around like high school or something, we started taking off our shoes. And then and then I just take off my shoes ever since.
But then what would you tell the people who weren't like Filipino or Asian that came over?
Oh, I take
Even
off.
if it was just like one or two people?
I'll tell them to take off their shoes.
That's cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because you do
I
that
remember-
now, right? In practice.
Like I remember in college, we did that, a bunch of my roommates. And then there's this white guy who refused to take off his shoes. And we were so pissed at him.
Maybe his feet smelled.
No, it was his feet. He has like he had some weird foot disease or something.
I mean,
You
isn't
have
that more of a
socks?
favor then?
I guess so.
Wasn't he doing you a favor? I'm just kidding. So I remember watching television when people would have shoes on the couch. Like if I was watching,
Yeah,
like,
that's gross.
it's weird, right? I'm like, why did
on the bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom would always be like, you know, you're wearing those shoes outside, you're stepping like dog shit and
Yeah,
like in the
yeah.
bathrooms and like walking around where like, you know, and so like you're going to put that on like the carpet? Because we had carpet.
Yeah,
We didn't really have like, you know,
Yeah.
hardwood floors or whatever. So-
maybe that's part of it too. Carpet versus hardwood. I remember having to take off shoes when we were on carpet, but then when we switched to hardwood floors, it sort of like didn't matter anymore.
Like, fuck it.
So, like, you're not dirtying the white carpet any longer. So,
So
But,
yeah. So I still don't understand walking inside the house with shoes on, but walking outside the house barefoot.
Oh, I totally did that too.
You do that?
I did. Oh, I ruined a lot of pairs of socks. I wasn't barefoot. I was just wearing socks.
That's
Like, I'm not
not
going to go far.
barefoot.
I'm going to go into the middle of the street. It's just like in front of our house, and I'll just be wearing my
All right.
socks.
That's gross, Mike.
Yeah.
to be fair,
My mom
To
did
be
not
fair,
appreciate that.
there were many times as a kid growing up in the Philippines, I would be barefoot, just running around barefoot outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not in the States. I don't know why.
No,
Okay.
because I first saw this a lot when I went to college in Santa Barbara, and you know Santa Barbara is kind of a quote unquote surfer town. So you have all these like white dudes like walking around barefoot, like all over the place. Like this guy went to class barefoot.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was kind of gross. I remember it was like the day
That's
after it
weird.
rained too, so it was all. Those
oh my
puddles.
God.
So he was like
Oh, that's
walking around
weird.
barefoot. I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell? That's so disgusting.
So when I was a kid, I would like always go to my cousins, and one summer I went up to her house and she got a new neighbor, and she was this white girl who would move from like Tennessee or Kentucky and like somewhere in the South. And she was like super cool. And I just remember she just crossed the street with no shoes. Like, and I thought, oh, she's the house across the street. It's cool, right? It's the house across the street. It's fine. But then I realized every time I saw her, she never wore shoes. Like she always was barefoot. And I was just like, wait.
People want to be one with the street.
Like,
one with the street. One with nature.
Like,
one with nature. One with the street.
But like, guys, we live in California. It gets hot outside. We're gonna walk around. And
Also, it's like glass and like
and
needles.
asphalt.
Yeah.
And then like there's like with no shoes.
Well, because
Like-
God gave us asphalt and concrete, so we have to be one with nature.
Let there be concrete. Sorry.
I guess. Well, I will say I haven't been able to get a pedicure in so long, but I've been debating on just walking barefoot in the concrete, so it would pumice my dead skin on my.
Oh, God, TMI.
All right, maybe I'm gonna go to Facebook and
Yeah,
here's
any
some comments. Let's see. Pilar commenting on how loud Filipino parties are. Jason says, it does make sense, but you never know. They might be intrigued and may end up wanting more food. I think this is a callback to what Mike was saying about explaining food. He also kept his shoes on. Ralph says, I had to tell my German friend that chocolate meat is like German blood sausage. She ate it gone. I loved it. See, that's the thing. Like it's not that weird,
No,
right?
totally.
Other cultures, that's why I'm like, dude, other cultures.
I'm
eat
like,
it,
motherfucking. I went to this party once, and this white.
Tell us
this
how you
white,
feel, Joe.
This white couple was fucking like all disgusted because I brought dinugo on to the party.
Oh man.
And I'm like,
But they walked in with
motherfucker,
no
you know what this is?
How dare they?
I said, dude, you know what this is? It's a fucking deconstructed hot dog. That's all it is. So fuck you.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Right, Mike?
It's
Right, Mike?
also delicious. It's delicious.
It is.
Like you like it,
delicious.
right?
It is
Dinuguan?
delicious.
Ugh.
That's so good.
I don't think I really started eating Filipino food till I was an adult. So let's just put it that way.
Michael.
Any other
Really?
comments, Ryan?
There's one on Instagram.
Go ahead.
Someone says, Row B says, I remembered elementary school and using the word muta and realizing I didn't know an actual English word for it.
Oh my god,
Morning
I totally done that too.
glory.
Is it like I booger,
Alex-
right?
Alex said eye boogers. I was like, that's what I
Yeah.
call. Wait, morning glory? What's morning glory?
I don't know why. I think I got that from my brothers, but we used to call it morning glory.
What?
Like, pare, meron ka morning glory. And then you just know, oh shit, I have muta.
No, but I feel like I pointed it out to somebody who wasn't Filipino because I just and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I realized, oh, that might not be an English word.
Wait, did you say, hey, you have
I said muta.
muta?
Yeah, it's like there's like muta on the side of your face, and they're like, "What?" I'm like,
Oh man.
you know, there's like crust, you know, like whatever, you know. Anyway,
Yeah. I crushed.
Girly calls it or in Ilocano it's called mukat,
Uh-huh.
and she always says that to me. Mukat.
Oh man. Real quick. So Catherine Vecchio Stanislawski says, I played all the time outside barefoot. Juke Jose says, walking in SF with slippers is weird because there's so much poop and needles.
Mhm.
It's nothing like stepping on hot asphalt. Pilar Diaz says, yes, Ryan, that's what we call it. I imagine that's morning glory. So
Morning
Pilar
glory.
is backing me up on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
somebody on Instagram says morning glory as well.
Right?
I've never heard that.
Never heard that.
It's like the store.
I don't know, man. That's
Like
what
a
we just
vegetable.
called
I
it.
thought.
It's the vegetable.
No, like the eye boogers, guys. Come on. Jennifer Magalong says, my two girls go to a small school and they are the only Filipinos. My youngest calls my oldest Ate Fia, and their peers are confused because they know they're her Sophia. They always have to explain it as a sign of respect. Well, that's probably another one, right? Like calling like Kuya, Ate, Uncle, you know. Tito.
Actually, that was a cultural shock
yeah.
for me as like someone growing up in Oxnard. Like, our family doesn't do that. They don't. I think I mentioned this before. We don't do ate, kuya, lola, any of those things. It's just, you know, none of
Yeah.
it. But then when I would run into other Filipinos that did, I was just like, wait, what? Am I supposed to be doing
Right.
that too? Like, you know,
Yeah.
kind of like with
Oh,
the
yeah.
blessing and like Tito Tita and all this other stuff. It's like, no, that's like
Yeah.
my Uncle Roderick. It's like, That's Tito Rod. It's like, what are you talking about? It's
Yeah.
my uncle. Like,
Yeah,
it's almost kind of this weird reverse like culture shock of just like, oh, there's terms that other Filipino cultures use for these things more commonly than I even knew, but it was just like our family just doesn't do it.
So you said grandpa and grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't use any of these.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
It's weird for me.
My
Yes,
grandma
I'm
thing.
I'm like,
Elaine, do you call Mike's parents by their first name?
I don't. Okay, so I don't know how to do this. So Bev actually commented on Instagram. So her mother, like, she doesn't call her mother-in-law anything either. Like when I see Mike's parents, I'm always like,
So wait, you guys don't greet?
Hi.
Still, you haven't got used to it.
I
What?
want.
You don't
It's
call them
still-
mom or dad?
No, it's weird.
Or tita
Oh.
or tito?
I mean, we
Oh
felt
my
weird doing
God.
that. Like before when we're dating, I would just call them uncle and auntie, right?
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
transition,
yeah.
right?
And then when we got married, it was really weird, but I just basically
You started
forced
saying
myself
mom
to
and
say
dad.
mom and dad, right?
Did they want that?
don't.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well,
I feel like,
so I
did
don't.
you ask your dad? No, so he was like, I don't care or whatever.
No, my dad said, "Yeah, Mike can call me dad."
Oh, I don't know.
Do you call him dad, Mike?
No, I don't call it. No.
You guys just skip that
Still?
portion. Merry
Christmas.
Dodge.
And then just silence.
What? It's kind of like how people like.
Dodge.
It's like some of our relatives would call say Elaine the Elot. It's like we didn't even do that. We didn't change
Yeah.
names. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
whatever. You guys can do whatever you want or believe whatever you want to believe, but like we're just gonna like avoid the topic entirely.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when we're at Mike's parents' house, I'll say like, "Your dad wants something, something, something," or you know what I mean. I won't say like, "Mom wants this," or "Your mom." Like I always say,
Oh,
"Your
yeah, yeah.
mom,"
Your dad, your mom.
"Your
Yeah.
dad."
Okay.
I think I
Interesting.
tried. I think I said one time to Mike, "Dad wants so and so," and I was just like, "This feels weird. I'm gonna not."
So
say this.
I think, Elaine, how about this? If Mike's parents says to you, please call me mom or please call me dad, would you be okay with it? Like, would you actually do it after? I imagine they never told you that you can call him that, or
I sure, I guess.
is
I
it just your comfort
It
level?
makes me wish. Okay, so legit, it makes me wish that
This is
because I
intimate.
think in
Everyone on
Korean
Facebook Live.
cultures, like in Korean cultures, there is an actual term for mother-in-law and father-in-law.
There is a term in
There's
Tagalog.
a term in Tagalog.
What's the term in Tagalog?
What is
Bienan.
it? Bienan? Is it? Is that right?
But like you address the person as that.
No,
you describe the person as is.
Yeah, it's more.
It's kind of
descriptive.
like it's not like you're gonna call your mother-in-law, "Hey, mother-in-law."
No, so like in Korean, there's a term like how
I
to
see what you're
say
saying.
address them as.
How do you
Like,
say
if
it?
you're- I don't know. I'm sure it's like mother-in-law.
Oh no, Joseph.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Joseph, we are on Facebook and Instagram Live.
Wait, what was the Tagalog word again? I didn't hear it.
Bienan.
Bienan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bienan sausage? No, that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, what?
No.
Etong siya yung biyenan ko.
Bienan ko. Yeah,
Yeah.
bienan ko.
That's
What?
my in-law.
That's an
But then there's also a term.
Oh.
There's also a term for like my parents call Girly's parents call each other like balae.
yeah.
Balae.
I mean, also we're not
Balae.
Tagalog, so I mean, like
Yeah.
I don't.
They're
know these
they're
words.
they're co-in-law parents or something.
Yeah. So like
Oh.
the in-laws call each other
Balae.
something balae.
But I guess the
Oh.
reason I ask Elaine is because like Filipino Americans, we have this natural. If we go to another person's house, we have a natural tendency. I don't know if I'll ever say Mrs. Bernardo, right? Mrs. Dolores
Oh, yeah.
or anything like that. I would automatically go to Tita or
Say
Tito
tita or auntie. Yeah.
or
yeah.
auntie, right?
Mhm.
So, and I guess that's why when someone comes to our house growing up and someone's not Filipino, they will call my mom Mrs. Carpio, and she'll go, "Please call me Tita Baby," right? She'll
Oh,
explain to them,
she would say that.
she will say it, and so it is established by her. I'm Tita Baby. This is Tito Mandy. That's how you can call us, and
Yeah.
it's kind of cool. It kind of cuts through the red tape of having to call, because she's not comfortable being called Mrs. Carpio, I guess, and she'd rather, and to her, it's more homely to be called Tita Baby.
Even
also doesn't like
even to
being-
non-Filipinos.
even to non-Filipinos.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who came to our house. Call me Tita Baby, and then I will explain. Like Tita means auntie.
I remember one time. Oh, that
Ah.
reminds me. I remember one time I brought a friend over, and then he introduced himself. Oh, my name's Jerome, and then my mom answered, "Oh, my name is Carmencita."
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, what?
it was weird.
that's weird.
I don't know. I think she still had her white voice, or she was still code switching.
Hello, this is Carmen.
Carmencita.
No, she was still code switching. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Oh.
That's
But I don't think my dad would introduce himself like to my friends as Dodge.
Right.
like
What
when
do you
I
introduce
went.
himself as?
So when I was a kid
Giant.
and I went when I did like a road trip with Jen, right? And we went to Vegas together as children. That was already like a big deal in itself that my parents were letting me sleep over and go on a trip with people who weren't my family.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. And so like I always called Jen's parents auntie and uncle, like Uncle Pete, right?
Mhm.
What do you call Jen's parents, Ryan? Uncle Pete.
Auntie and Tito or Tita. I usually
Yeah,
call
yeah,
them
yeah.
Tita or Tita.
And so when my dad came over to drop me off, I think he might have been like, okay. And then I was like, bye, Dad. And then I don't know if Jen said like, bye, Tito or bye, Uncle. But no one ever said his name. I don't think anybody really said Dodge.
I mean, that's
Mm.
okay. I know there's a lot of friends that I have, and I don't know their parents' names, and I just would call them. That's why it's easier. I call them Tita or Tita.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's
like it
also-
took me a while before I actually knew the names of like
Yeah,
these uncles because I knew them by like their nickname.
right.
Like I was like, oh, your name isn't really like Ashong, it's Ace. You know,
Right,
like one of my uncles.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? Like so,
Oh,
or vice
yeah.
versa. You know,
Or my cousin.
Like when we were kids and we would have to go to the hospital to hang out after school and wait for my aunt.
Yeah.
When we would go there, I remember we would this was temporary because eventually we got in trouble for like running around the hospital floor. But we would like open the door to the ICU unit. You push a button and the door opens, and then like 4 kids would like run through, grab like lollipops that were there, and then we were and then we'd be like. And they knew us. They were like, "Oh, yeah, I'm here with my tita Ninit," and then they would look at me and I'd be like, "Who's Ninit?" And I would be like, "I don't know her real name."
Oh, yeah. I get
And
it.
then they would say, "Oh, you're Trudy's kids."
Trudy.
Because at the hospital, her name is Trudy because her
Wait,
name
what?
is her name is Gertrudes.
Oh my god, you're
So-
blowing my mind. I
Oh.
never heard that
And
before.
so her name at the hospital was Trudy. So
Nice.
that was the first time I had learned that was her name. And I was just like,
Wow.
Discovery.
and I was just like, let me just take these lollipops and run away from you all. So I have to go
Trudy.
Yeah. So at the hospital, she was Trudy, but that's like one of those like when my cousin, I would be interact with my cousin's friend. I call her Atikari, right? Like
Yeah.
she's Atikari. Her friends would look at her and be like, "What does Ate mean?"
Right.
And we'd always have to explain, like, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
she's the oldest. We have to call her that."
And here there's I'm trying to figure out there's no equivalent in English for anything like that. It's just, hey homie, what's up? Right?
Like,
Well, I say
sis,
like
Kuya,
big
ate.
sis.
bro.
Bro, right? I
Bro.
guess that's what it is. Bro. Oh,
Where's Mike going?
Oh.
Mike disappeared.
Invisible.
Mike disappeared into
Um, I have another one that we kind of have talked about in the past, but I wanted to bring it up. I don't know if generation wise this has changed, but like, you were talking about hospitals, Elaine, but like putting our elderly parents in a home, like in a
like a
like a-
nursing home,
like a
or
nursing home?
Yeah.
that's kind
that
of
was
like
always
a,
weird to me. That was super
Right?
weird to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was it's very odd for me as well. So my mom's is also older, but she's at home. You know, my dad's taking care of her and everything. But I never understood that. And I used to sing Christmas carols at convalescent homes when I was in 4th grade, and I didn't know what a convalescent home was. I just knew I was going to go sing a song somewhere. And so my thought was, some of these homes that we went to were sort of retirement /
Mm.
senior homes, right? But I didn't get it. I didn't understand. Like, I thought they were all like sick. I thought it was a hospital more than it was like a retirement facility or home, right? And the way it was described to us as kids is like, oh, sometimes they don't get visitors. I go, what? Why wouldn't anybody? What is this place? You know, I didn't quite understand it as a fourth
Yeah.
grader.
Yeah, I remember
And-
the first time I had to volunteer at one too. I was just like, are they like poor so they can't live in
Right.
their
You're
their family's
absolutely right,
homes or
Mike.
whatever?
I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Realizing that it's probably more expensive there.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know what convalescent was growing up because I knew it as convalescent. Convalescent.
Wait,
Is
how
it convalescent?
Convalescent?
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
convalescent?
Yeah, I didn't know what a convalescent home was
Yeah.
because all I knew. Oh, I said it. I said it.
Yeah, you said it.
Sorry.
Convalescent.
I was like, wait, is that how you're supposed to say it?
That's why I'm like, wait a minute.
No, because I learned it as a convalescent.
Oh,
I didn't know.
yeah.
Oh,
That's what I called it until later on when I, saw TV. and
It's
stuff. They called
probably both right.
it- yeah.
It's
I
probably
mean,
both.
it's like how I grew up calling Valencia Valencia.
Yeah.
And-
Another thing I have on my list is I don't know if this is specifically like a white thing, but like
Probably.
having a parent as a teacher. Like I had friends
What?
who like I had friends who one of the teachers in the school was actually their mom or like their dad.
Oh, I
Okay.
had somebody like that
I
in
mean,
elementary school too,
I
but
don't-
they were white. They were
No.
Filipino.
Mine was a Filipina. My sixth grade teacher. Shout out to Mrs. DeWare. She had a daughter as a student. She's Filipina. I think it's just
Oh.
convenience.
Another thing I had was hating to go home for the holidays.
Oh yeah, that's kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
like dreading it. Like, oh, I can't believe I gotta spend time with my family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of weird too. Because I'm like, dude, don't you want to eat? It's always about food, isn't it? But yeah, just that idea though, right? Like not going home for the holidays.
I mean, I
Well,
can understand
I-
if you hate your parents, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I remember I got kind of in trouble because, like, in college, I worked retail, right? And in retail, you work till like the December 24th, in
Yeah.
case like to make sales. And so I remember my parents were really mad at me because I was working until Christmas Eve, and then I had Christmas Day off, and I think I had figured out like a situation that I didn't have to go back to work until maybe like the 26th or the 27th. But my parents were like, "Aren't you going to stay here for the full week?" I'm like, "No, I have to go back to work. I have shifts to cover.
Yeah.
It's really busy." And then like I had to work New Year's Eve, which it always sucks for New Year's Eve. But my parents are like, "So you're going to come home after your work, right?" And I'm like,
Mm.
"No." And they're like, "What do you mean you're not going to come home for Christmas Eve?" And I'm like, "You want me to drive from Costa Mesa to the Valley on Christmas Eve?"
Elaine.
I was
It's Christmas Eve.
Was it like your first year though, or is it like
New
years later?
New
Oh,
Year's
New
Eve.
Year's Eve? Still.
I was old. I was like a junior in college. Or something.
Okay. I think by my junior year, my parents were used to the idea that like I didn't have to be around for every holiday, but they fully expected me there. Yeah, for Christmas, Thanksgiving, like multiple days. And it's like I have a life. Like I don't want to be here for like 4 days in a row if I don't have to be.
So maybe this
But it was
is
like
just,
it's like part of being for the family. It's like it's like disrespectful to the family somehow. to,
Right.
like, not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So this, I don't know. Maybe Mike and I share something about New Year's, but I was never allowed to go anywhere on New Year's.
Because you might get shot.
Yeah, my parents always. Yeah, exactly. My parents always thought you might get shot. Dito ka na lang. You just stay home. Invite your friends here instead.
Yeah.
Like
So that they can get shot.
no. Like to eat at the house instead of us going to a party. My parents would always like us to,
I love how you guys went to "You might get shot," and mine was like, "Oh, you're gonna get hit by a drunk driver."
I mean that's
yeah.
That's what my parents would say.
That's probably more legit too.
Yeah, that's probably more
Like-
likely too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why. I was
No,
like,
we
okay.
always had family parties on New Year's, and then my friends would always kind of not clown, but like they would be like, "That's so weird. Why do you spend
Right?
time? Yeah, that's not a holiday you spend your family with. You
Yeah.
spend with your family.
Yeah, that's another one. Like
This is where you go party."
yeah,
You mean like Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day, dude?
You know,
Go ahead.
I mean, I wrote down. Did you ever do this? Did you ever put your foot on the dashboard of your car, or like put your bare feet like just hanging out?
I think we have an obsession with feet today.
I think there is.
I never did that.
Okay, so I had a manager at one point. I was on a business trip, and we were staffing an event, and she picked me up from the airport, and she rolled up, and I swear to God, her left foot was hanging out outside the window.
You don't ever put limbs outside a window.
And I was like, how do you do that? Is that comfortable to put your leg, like your foot, like outside the window?
Yeah.
Like, is this a thing that people do that I just did not know that is a comfortable position?
No, that's gross.
Yeah, it's also very tight in the car. So
I don't know. I just think the feet are like the most disgusting body part.
And it's just like flailing out the window.
It's just gross. It's like, I don't know. It's the thing that touches the ground. It's the dirtiest, other than the butt. But like,
man, Joe, you know we're on Facebook Live and Instagram Live.
Yeah, all your feet are ugly. I don't care what you say. All your feet are ugly. I don't care if you had a pedicure or anything. Your feet are ugly.
And for Joe's like, you're going to take off your shoes at my house, put some socks on.
Yeah, for real.
Oh my God. Jason Beltran wrote, my mom put her bare feet on the dashboard of our rental van, right over the air conditioning vent.
That's hilarious.
What? I don't understand. I mean, I guess maybe you have hot feet. You have to cool them down.
Oh, maybe she was going through menopause.
But
Sorry.
I've seen
Dang,
like,
Joe, you know we're on Facebook
have you
Live
seen
and
this?
Instagram.
I want to say, if you do a road trip, just look out and see feet out windows. When we do road trips, I have seen this and I don't understand.
Hey, in order to have a good show, you have to not think that we're on Facebook Live or
That's
Instagram,
true.
right?
You're absolutely right.
So it had to go completely natural.
Completely natural. Your feet are ugly. Ben de Guzman says, I love visiting my family for the holidays in theory, but it can often be high stress, especially for Thanksgiving when my folks hosts all the cousins.
Yeah, I mean that could be high stress.
Yeah,
especially if your family is not the most welcoming people.
Right. I just eat. I stress eat. I just eat in general. That's not even true. I don't even stress eat. It's just eating in general for me. So,
I have listed here small weddings. That's a big culture shock to me.
So many people. Dude. How many people? Oh my God, 50. What? 50 in your entourage, right?
Or when they say, I'm having such a big wedding. And you're like, how many people? 125. I'm like,
I was like, oh, yeah.
What?
Oh my God. Like our bare bones list that we came down to for our wedding was like 225.
Yeah.
So it was originally like 350.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Ryan,
not go there.
I remember you were on there.
I wasn't at Elaine and Mike's, but thanks for the invite. Joe.
So another thing I had was again, I went to college in Santa Barbara, and we're notorious to being a party school. But every time we went to like white parties, quote unquote white parties, there was no dancing. They just put music on, and they're just like standing around with a keg.
Yeah.
And just like talking. And I'm like, this is not a party. But if you go to any POC party that was around, there's always dancing. A DJ. There's always dancing.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been a Santa Barbara thing.
No, I agree.
I do not remember dancing.
At parties?
Wait, at parties?
Yeah.
That's all I did at parties.
Well, no, here's the other thing, though. Is like they weren't really like house party. Yeah.
If it was a house party, there was no dancing. If it was a party at a bar.
Nuh-uh.
Well, because also like house parties in Irvine were like apartment parties. And they were already like really small apartments with like a ton of people living there already. Are you thinking about like places that have like big living rooms and garages and stuff? Because none of that existed at parties we went to.
Even Joe, I agree with you. The only reason I went to parties, like Filipino parties, I didn't drink in college. I went to dance. You know? My little dance. But that's what I mean. That's all I could do. I didn't do any drugs. I didn't drink. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna hang out with my friends. I'm gonna listen to music and I'm gonna dance. So that's
No, we would have in Santa Barbara, like even if people are in apartments and stuff,
yeah.
you move all the furniture
Yep.
to the side. You
Yep.
we put cardboard on the floor.
I
So
thought you
I
were
I
saying
do
basically
remember
tape-
cardboard.
and you tape all the cardboard together to make sure, like, if anybody yaks or something.
Oh, that way. Okay,
Okay,
sorry. I
well,
thought you were gonna break
we
that.
And
did-
then we had a DJ, and then there would be dancing.
We never had
I wanna
DJs
say
either.
We didn't have DJs. So Irvine parties were just okay. So Irvine parties were
This is
straight up
shocking to me too.
I know.
Irvine parties. If they were at a club or bar, then there would be dancing because
Mhm.
you had to there was a DJ and you had to make the bar tab. But if it was a party in a house or like someone's apartment, it was like there might be cardboard on the floor, but that was so the carpet didn't get dirty. And so
I call that a kickback.
but then
I call
You're dating
that a
yourself right
family
now,
party.
I call that a family party.
but like at Irvine parties got like broken up at like 11:30. So like you
Yeah, a
just
party
had-
would last 2 hours and the cops came.
because
And that's why Santa
Constantly.
Barbara is better.
we didn't barely dance enough, so that's why.
And there's so many good dancers at Irvine, Culture
No, they were
shock.
too tired. That's why. That's why they.
This is an interesting comment from Ben. As an East Coast college Filipino who went to college in the West Coast, this was the distinction. West Coast equals Filipinos start dancing and then drink. East Coast Filipinos drink then start dancing afterwards.
Ah,
And then
interesting.
Irvine
Yeah.
is just drink and do drugs.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Kids, don't do drugs.
Or go to
Not all of
LA
Drugs.
and go dance.
them. Not all of them.
Oh yeah, we would come up to LA to go to clubs.
Rian says DJ CeeLo.
No, that's an inside thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm reading it on Facebook Live.
Wait, Alex is saying we did. We did what? We danced? I think
Not
you're
at the
lying,
houses,
Alex.
though.
Not at the houses.
Ralph says, I got like 18 ninongs and ninongs. I imagine that's for weddings.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's a thing that I didn't realize is like,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
uniquely
yeah.
Filipino things. Like,
Yeah.
whenever someone was getting like their kids baptized or whatever, it's like, well, how many godparents are you gonna have? It's like, my friends would be like, just the one, like
Yeah.
the godmother and godfather. It's like, what do you mean just the? What about like the other ones, right? Because I look at my big pictures, I had like 4 or 5 godmothers, 4 or 5 like godfathers, right?
Right,
Like I don't
right.
even remember all of them anymore. But like, apparently that's I don't know if it's a
Yeah.
Filipino thing, but it's not like a American thing, I guess.
Yeah, because usually there's only one that signs, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't matter who signs. I
Right,
mean,
that's
if
why.
they're your ninong or ninang, like you're ninong or ninang, like regardless, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah, would you
Mike,
be
can
the
you restart
godfather?
the Facebook Live or Instagram Live?
oh, the Instagram live is out.
Yeah, because I think we hit the hour.
Okay.
But
Oh, it's an hour. Wow.
I think for weddings, I didn't realize that was a thing either, or even for baptisms, just because I only had 4. I didn't have like a dozen ninongs and ninangs.
Wait, are we talking? Oh, okay, never mind.
Well, I guess it could be both, right? For weddings and
Well, yeah, they're
For
like the
wedding-
sponsors, right?
the sponsors. Like we had. I think we did the whole. We had all of them actually, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember Joe's wedding. And Girlie's.
Oh, full.
Oh no, I don't. I was.
All right. So another thing is, I had friends who had maids.
Ooh.
Whoa!
So
What?
so that was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Like, what the hell?
No, they would have like a weekly like housekeeper. Sorry.
Yeah, I have a.
weekly
Oh, like a
housekeeper.
cleaning lady.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was called
one friend
Me.
growing up.
So it's
So
called Me Too.
in high school, I had that. I had some friends that were sort of rich and had that. But in elementary school, one of my good friends, Shamir, what up, Shamir? Indian guy, but he had a housekeeper. So that was. I mean, it wasn't that weird because in the Philippines, I had a housekeeper or a maid or a live-in.
Because you're rich.
Oh, come on. Many people. We talked about this in the past.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Many have had that,
I'm kidding,
but
I'm
also,
kidding.
but I do get what you mean. Like in the States, I thought, hey, you don't have that. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I go to Shamir's house and he's like, "Who's that?" He goes, "Oh, that's my housekeeper." I'm like, "Oh, that's weird."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing I had was the parents giving the children financial advice or like how to like deal with money. I don't know if that's a white
Elaborate.
thing, but I went to like my friend's house and they were just talking about like how to maximize like something
Your investments?
No, no.
Like your IRA, your 401k.
No, like that. No, I think some money that they got because they sold something.
Oh.
They sold like baseball cards or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the father was like, "Oh, this is how you maximize your money." Blah blah blah. So I don't know if that's a specific American
Might be
thing,
specific.
maybe a white thing, because it's all about.
Did your parents never talk to you about money?
No,
Did you have an allowance?
Interesting. Did you have an
No.
allowance?
No,
I think we
if-
talked about this
if
too
I-
already, though, but yeah.
yeah. And this is something that Ryan said. Pies out the window.
Oh yeah. You guys ever watching TV? It's like, oh, I baked a pie. I'm gonna leave this sitting out in the windowsill, and I'm like, damn lady, fly's gonna get that shit. What are you doing? I never understood why you would put a pie on the windowsill and open the goddamn window. Why? What are you trying to attract? Ants and flies?
Cats.
Shoo fly. Don't bother.
Don't bother me.
I never understood that. Cats. Like, what the heck? Stay out of my pie.
Also, who's baking pies that are homemade? Because the only pie I ever got was like from Sara Lee, the frozen.
No,
guy.
from Baker Square or like Marie Callender's.
Baker Square. That's so old.
Okay, I have a random. If you bought a pie from Baker Square, did you keep the pie tin and use it as a plate?
Of course. I'm just
A
kidding. I don't
plate?
even know what Baker Square is.
What? Okay, so for a long time, we had these pie tins from Baker Square, and we used those as plates. I don't even know if my parents still had them.
Supposed
But
to
they would
return them
use
for
it-
the deposit.
I don't think my parents bought the pie. It was like,
I mean, no, I mean, do we have tons of like well, not Tupperware, but like the the stuff that food comes in now,
yeah, the to-go things.
the to-go
we use
containers.
them.
Yeah, we reuse that. So it's like that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My parents would use the pie tin for like, it would be like their puck one plate, right? Like they poured the puck one on it and then you crack it and you would, it's like one side's for the seeds that you haven't cracked. One side is for the shell.
The
That's how
puck
my
one
parents,
seeds.
Yeah.
yeah, that's how my parents would use all these Baker Square's pie things. I know.
I forgot I told you that pie.
I had tina pie.
God.
Oh god. It's getting
It never gets
late.
old except for every time you say that joke.
Oh, God.
Fine, I had 3.14.
Oh.
Ooh. I had a pizza pie.
Did you go to you went to the movie house after and put on your rubber shoes?
At the disco.
And then after you watched the basketball contest?
Basketball.
The basketball contest.
Okay. Do we have any more?
I have breakfast, like a
Oh, yeah.
full,
Oh God.
like a
yeah.
full breakfast or something, and I would always like look on TV and be like, I just want to eat some cereal. But also, why, if you had cereal, would you have a glass of milk and orange juice?
Yeah.
Like,
I
shouldn't-
agree
And
with
like
you on
bacon
that.
and eggs and like pancakes and
with your cereal, like who eats that and then goes to school?
this is
Yeah.
So
part
my
of a balanced
dad-
breakfast.
My dad actually mixed orange juice and milk together.
Wait,
and
To
drank it.
make Orange Julius?
Yeah, it tastes like orange Julius.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he
that's what he drank
put-
like almost every morning when I was growing up.
Elaine. Like
Is your dad not lactose intolerant?
I guess I don't know. I guess not.
Wow. Oh my God. It's like a creamsicle. That's so. I want to do that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, try it next time. It's really
Oh my
good.
God.
Yeah.
Wait, was it real juice or was it Sunny D?
No, it was real juice, like Minute
So-
Maid stuff.
How old were you when you realized Sunny D wasn't real juice?
Oh, today years
18.
old? Today years old? What do you mean? It says there, made with real 10% juice of the
Okay.
juice. I'm just
So
kidding.
I went to the store, and when my aunt said go get juice, I put Sunny D in the in the cart, and she was like,
You mean
"Get
sugar
real
water?
juice." And I was like, "What?" Or like Tampico, because like Tampico,
It's like that's real water, dude. It's like
Tampico and
the
Sunny D,
sugar.
I thought were real juice, and then I
Yeah.
thought fancy juice was like Minute Maid or like the orange juice with Donald Duck on the carton. Like I was
Donald
like,
Duck.
"Ooh,
Yes.
this is like fancy orange juice," but I want to get Sunny D because in my mind I was like, "It's 99 cents a jug. This
Yeah.
is good. This is more value for it, and you still
Yeah.
get orange."
I never eat cereal. Probably till later on. I didn't understand what cereal was as a breakfast. Because I like you, Elaine. Like our breakfasts were kind of hefty. It was like fried rice, eggs.
Every day.
Tocino. Not every
day?
day. Sometimes it's toast. But my grandma cooked a lot, and
Got
so when we would go to school, like it's time to eat, and it's like, oh, okay, bites of fried rice and like egg, or like an egg and bread, something like that.
Huh.
Like
No,
an
it
egg
was always
sandwich.
cereal for me, and except for the weekends. Weekends was like the canned food. Silog.
Yeah, the silogs.
Had
Yeah.
so corned beef or Vienna
Of
sausage.
course. Corned beef. Was the
Vienna
best.
sausage. Gosh, no Vienna sausage.
Oh yes, Vienna sausage.
You got any more on your list, Joe?
It's kind of random though. I wrote down bar mitzvah because I didn't know what it was until I was like, "What the hell's a bar mitzvah?"
Oh, because
Wait,
they
what?
talk about it. They talk about it on TV all the time.
I know,
And
but
you're
I had
what
like
kind of
yeah,
party
yeah.
is that?
no, I had a
I
Jewish
see
friend
what you
though.
mean.
I had like Jewish friends.
Oh, did you go to a bar mitzvah?
Yeah. I went to a couple. And then there's just like
Whoa.
big parties. I was like, "Whoa, this is kind of like a debut, but you're
Yeah.
13."
Everything's younger.
Yeah. So I wrote that. I put down. I mean, I don't know if this is like American. It probably is because it's a high rate here. But having divorced parents,
Yeah,
Mm.
that's kind of a culture shock to me.
Mm.
yeah. Or how open it was.
Yeah.
I remember being in high school. I remember very vividly, like you, Joe. I was in high school and we had a theology class, and the teacher was talking to a student in front of the class, like, "Oh, did you get grounded? Like stuff like that. Like, we're talking about respect for elders and stuff." And one of the questions the teacher asked was, "Oh, are your parents still together?" And the kid was like, "No." And I was like, "What?" I don't understand how that's a discussion topic that everyone in the classroom is, like the comfort level that they had to talk about it as a topic in
Yeah.
the classroom was like very, very weird to me.
It means it's
It's like-
very normalized.
Right. Like
Yeah,
also
yeah,
like, aren't you supposed to hide that shit? Aren't you guys?
Yeah. And
know?
yeah.
We're
Dude, I
Catholic.
know.
We're
I know
supposed to
some
suppress
people
that
who. I know some people whose parents like they're divorced, but they still live together. They still live in the same house
Oh, that's weird.
for financial purposes.
For financial, I could.
Oh,
I know,
okay.
I know, like 2 or 3 people whose parents are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This just the comfort level I think is kind of different, but
No, yeah. Whenever it happened amongst like my parents' friends, but they would always speak about it in like these kind of weird, like hushed kind of way,
yeah.
like, "Oh, they're not married anymore," or something. Like it was like the thing that you just don't talk about.
Yeah. But it was absolutely shocking to me. Even as like a 15 or 16-year-old, I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Just learning that as a norm.
I got one more.
Well, someone on Facebook actually commented on that. It was Catherine Vecchio
Stanislavski.
Stanislavski wrote, "My mom called all my white friends kids from broken homes. Looking back, she was pretty much right. Most of them had parents that were divorced."
Oh man.
Wow. I'm trying to remember if I don't know if I knew if anybody's parents were split up back then.
No.
Filipino parents usually
Like they don't talk about it.
Well,
Yeah.
they don't talk about it, but most of
I
them
feel
are
like you
Catholic.
do, but yeah,
Yeah.
like relatives or friends of relatives.
Yeah. My last one is no microwaving seafood.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So when I was working, like sometimes I would baon stuff for lunch, right? And I would microwave like seafood, and
I
then
did
like
that.
and then people like totally complain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, screw you, man.
I did that with shrimp, and I thought it's not fish, right? It's fine. And then someone was totally complaining, and I'm like, oh, whoops, sorry.
But right, recently?
Yeah. Well, not really recent. I mean, we've been home, so
no, it's like
it's funny if Mike was the one complaining.
It's like, damn it,
and
Elaine.
work from home.
I need to put up another sign in like the break room. No fish in the microwave. No, whenever my grandparents would fry fish in the backyard, like, and I had a friend over, they'd be like, "What the hell's that smell?" And I'd be like, so like, not ashamed of it, but I would just be like, "Can you guys like do that later or close the windows or whatever?"
Right.
I wouldn't be like, "Oh, it's just fish," because also I didn't really like fish. But also,
wait,
like,
did you eat this fish that they were frying?
No. Oh my god! Every time I had to eat fish as a kid, like I would do it like, when someone forces you to eat something and you're just like begrudgingly doing it, like, fine, it's fine. Like, I also did fish. I was like an adult. Anyway, sorry.
Same kind of wavelength, Mike. But when you cook fried rice in the morning, usually my dad would use garlic, right? Garlic fried rice.
Yeah.
And so I would smell of garlic going to school, and I remember being like super embarrassed about it. But now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I must have smelled delicious. Growing up, every day I was like, "Who's that delicious fried rice? It's fried Ryan."
Fried Ryan.
I'm just kidding, Mike. Sorry, boo.
Oh my god, fried Ryan.
No, but you know what I mean. Like you kind of get embarrassed by like food smells of your home.
Oh, totally. I think I left the house and I probably smelled like patis or something all the time.
Yeah, but now I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Like going back, looking back, right? And I guess that's probably like the spirit of this conversation. And a lot of the things that we talked about tonight was surrounding the things that we were sort of embarrassed about growing up. But what reason did we have to be embarrassed about it? Because someone made fun of us, or
I should have never put that bean up my nose. I'll just be
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, you should still be embarrassed over that.
I'm like, I think I am.
I don't think you should be proud of that now. I'm going to walk around with a bean in my nose.
I'm just impressed that I got it out.
You should have just taken a nap, Elaine. Naps were cool.
No, I mean, I take naps now. I love a good nap now.
But, like growing up as a person of color, like I actually was lucky enough to go to a school where the majority of my friends or the majority of my classmates was Filipino or Latino. I had one friend that was Indian, a really good friend of mine. I talked about him earlier. His name was Shamir, but he was like the only Indian kid. And I felt like he was picked on a lot. And I felt like he hid some of the cultural things that he would probably found normal. Like I remember going to his house every Friday, a bunch of us, because he had the Nintendo, he had like the basketball hoop and everything, and he was the one with the housekeeper and everything like that. But I never ate Indian food. I never.
When you were at his house?
Never. I'm looking. I seriously. I called some of my friends earlier tonight. I was like, "Hey, do you guys ever remember eating Indian food at Shamir's house growing up?" And we never did. And I don't know why. And I can only kind of guess some of the things, but he got made fun of a lot. Being the only Indian kid in school. And he got made fun of a lot for a lot of that stuff. I don't know if that's the reason. Maybe he just didn't want to share delicious food. but he's a very giving dude. He's awesome. He's a doctor now. But I just thought about that, and I'm like, I wonder why. And then I realized, man, our school was like mean. Kids are mean, And they would call them all sorts of names and all that. But it kind of that kind of kind of translates to even us, like mean kids or television. Or like the things that we see in media kind of put us in like embarrassing moments of where we shouldn't have to be embarrassed about. Whether it's like the smell of our food, or like the cultural practices that we have that actually make sense, like the tabo, things that we end up hiding, which is like actually loving and caring gestures towards our elders, for example. I hope more people are encouraged to be open about it.
That's the thing we have to like fight, right? It's called normative whiteness, right? So anything that's white is normal, right? And that's something like American culture is very like that's really ingrained in American culture, right? So that's what that's part of the fight that we have to change. Is whatever normal is. It's white. It's heteronormative. It's all that kind of stuff.
So, would you recommend people heat up fish in their workplaces, Joe?
Hell yeah. With bagoong and patis and
how could you eat fish for lunch?
All that stuff.
That doesn't even seem like a delicious lunch.
Adobong pusit.
Oh, Mike! Mike, Rubio's fish tacos. You're gonna eat that, but you get like warm up fish.
That's totally different. Completely different.
How is that different? Lies.
The only Filipino food Mike like is barbecue.
Yeah.
And a cheese lumpia.
Yes.
Cheese.
We gotta figure out how to make those.
So Mike's aunt puts Eden cheese in a lumpia wrapper and then deep fries it. Yeah.
You mean like the queso de bola cheese?
Eden.
Oh, sorry.
Eden. So not queso de bola, Eden cheese that you get at like Seafood City. She cuts it up into little strips. She puts it in a lumpia wrapper and then deep fries that.
She's also done it with Velveeta. So,
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Mind blown.
She's
Right,
creative.
Basically, she's clogging our arteries with cheese lumpia.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting a little late for us. You guys doing all right?
Thank you. Any other comments? Jam.
Yeah. Let me go through the comments one last time. So some folks were talking about, let's see, even real orange juice is flavored, according to Brian. My mom called all my white friends. Oh, that we already said that. Yeah. Angela says, my parents were divorced and my mom remarried. I always felt like a weirdo around my cousins with a stepdad. My white friends were confused. Ralph's white friends were confused. Why daing na bangos tastes like the best fried chicken.
It does.
And then Ruben Lumpia at Ike's in SF from Cat. I don't know what that
is. That like a Reuben sandwich?
Ike sandwich. Yeah, Ike
sandwich. No. Yeah, maybe.
Ruben Lumpia. Oh, from like Lumpia Company?
At Ike's.
It says Ruben Lumpia at Ike's in San Francisco.
I've never tried that.
It's Ike's in the Valley.
What?
It's Ike's in the Valley.
It's a sandwich place.
Yeah, it's a chain.
Ike's sandwiches. It's a chain.
And they have Ruben Lumpia?
Yeah. Unless it's a different Ike's, Mike, and we just don't know.
It's probably a different...
Oh, he's saying yes. They're saying yes. Cat Cordero is saying yes. Did we eat that sandwich? I don't know. But yes. Now I want to try it.
Cool.
Let's see what is in here.
Are we still on Instagram?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for this conversation, Ryan. For starting this up.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for indulging me and sharing some of your thoughts, especially about pie. That got me interested in pie.
Now I want to eat pie.
I know. Get off the windowsill, pie. But also thank you to our Instagram and Facebook followers and those who listen to this Filipino American Life podcast. We love doing this, and we got to do it live again this week. Hopefully we'll see you and catch you guys later on. Any last words from producer Mike, Joe, or Elaine?
Nope.
Rate us 5 stars. Oh, yeah. Buy our merch at thisfilipinoamericanlife.com. What else?
And if you have any other of your own stories about your personal experiences with culture shock, I mean, feel free to comment on this thread or on our social media.
And people who are members of Culture Shock, just comment anyways.
You can leave us a voicemail. Joe's now dancing. Voicemail 805-394-TFAL. What's that number, Ryan?
805-394-TFAL. I wrote it down. See? Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This Filipino American Life is produced by Michael Nailat. Our intro and outro music is by Roger Habon, aka 10.4 Raj. Resident reality checker Girly Colado, legal advisor Rianne Fajardo, and graphic design by Vincent Collyer.